Good evening and welcome to Space Engineers. This is your host, WolfenRay73. Today I am putting up a YouTube video, a brief of my newest build, which is the, let me read it, I forget the name of it. Here it is. The C-Series Planetary Starship Planetary Frigate. The Patriot is the name of the particular prototype. I recently just put this up on Steam, and I just want to do a basic overview of what it may look like, what it looks like on the inside, on the outside, and here, let me do this. Just kind of give a general, just to get general tour of what this ship is. Now, this ship is part of my C-Series, and the C-Series is a set of modular blocks. I have several sets. I have a B-Series, I have an S-Series, and I have a C-Series, which is my most prolific one. And the way I do Space Engineers is I take the blocks and then I make bigger blocks, and then they become modules. I snap the modules together to create the ships. And this ship is a planetary frigate. It's meant to land on planets, take off from planets, and, you know, do warp and escort the large Star Wolf, which is my C-Series cruiser Starship, which I'll be doing a video on that here, and is also on the workshop. So as you can see, we have this ship is made for 2 engineers. Now, everything that I build is practical for the game. I do 2 things. Well, there's an enemy. Can you believe that? I do 2 things. One thing is I make it so that you can use the ship without any HUD, because in real life you don't have a HUD in front of your eyes, unless of course you use Google Glasses or something like that. So in this ship I have 2 cryo chambers, right? As you can see, it's got a large cargo in the back. It's got a medical room in the center. In the place of the underneath there's some stuff. In the place is a big old hyperdrive. That's an emergency hyperdrive. We have 2 emergency cockpits. Let me go to the other one. There's the alien planet down below us. 2 emergency cockpits, just in case that front gets blown out. You can get in this emergency cockpit. And let me just put on the group here. This is what I haven't been able to put this on, but this is something you could do yourself. And what this does is you can get in this emergency cockpit and close the blast door in case if you are in battle and your front end gets blasted out, you still are able to control the ship under relative protection. Of course, if I get out and I go around to the other side, it's also closed. So let me get that to open up. Now, I've been playing Space Engineers for a long time, so even though I have like my own scripts, I also know how to use scripts and make the scripts that are on, and I've come across a lot of scripts, known and relatively unknown. Now, there are some scripts that are really, really good that are quite unknown, and as you can see, there's some famous ones. I use Elysius's floor plan to show you the terminals of the ship and its basic damage, and it's, you know, all of that. I give you a readout right here, the menu pad. Here I use Wico Techniker scan, and what that does is it takes any camera that's facing forward, and I got 4 of them, and it shows you what may be in front of them. Now, as you can see, I got a planet that's in front of me. And does it actually pick it up? No. Now they say maybe it should wait, you know, work up to 15 miles or whatever. As you can see, 1,500 meters, 15,000 meters. I find it works really around 5,000 meters. And I also have this new one, which is the formation thing, because in the future I want this ship to have little corvettes or little drones, and it be as it's an escort role anyways, or an advanced uh, strike vehicle. Destroyers are supposed to go out as the cruiser, and the carriers are supposed to throw out the advanced strike weaponry. This ship is made to go out in the front lines and prevent any ships or any capital ships from crossing a certain threshold that may threaten the bigger capital ships with such as short range guns and stuff. That's the kind of the meeting of a frigate and a destroyer. And therefore I'm going to have it where it makes drones. Now I have a drone and it hasn't been built yet, so and it also has a scan with a fly-to, which I think is built by a guy named Delizin. And what this does is, if it captures a target, you can then fly to that target by autopilot safely, and it'll stop around 250-300 meters from the actual hitting of the target, thus getting you within gun range safely. However, you won't crash into it. Now this ship is built like a Prius, meaning that it has very little power. It has power as a generator, the generators, but it runs mostly on battery. And if you look at my screens right here, it'll tell you that from battery power alone I can produce up to 1.3 gigawatts. So this really kind of solves the power problem. A lot of times you see these ships and they get shot, and because all of their power is centralized, or they stagger the power, like, okay, we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reactors in a series. Even that is a little bit inefficient. It burns up more uranium. It is easier, it takes less uranium to recharge batteries and have the batteries push you along than it is to actually just go straight from the reactor to whatever components is creating the power. So this has got a big old large battery pack, just like a Toyota Prius, and rather than flying straight from the power, I could use very little uranium, and with just a few small reactors, and recharge all these batteries for relatively cheap. And with these batteries at 1.3 gigawatts, I can go forever and a day and never run out of battery power. So let me go outside and we will take a look at the rest of the ship on the outside. I think my helmet is on. No, it's off, of course. Of course it is. Okay. Let's take a look at the rest of the ship. Now, one of the scripts that I have is, of course, there's a guy named Simo, and automatic doors. There's the name of the ship. So here is the first module. This is an atmospheric stabilizer. This is the crew compartment here in the front, and as you can see is armed with a light Gatling gun from the top, from the bottom, along with an antenna. Here we have a shield, so that if you get into combat, you hit the button, the shield will flip forward over the windshield, and then you can fly by camera. As you can see, the cameras are here in the front, 2 cameras right there, 2 cameras right there. So that gives you vision. Of course, there's cameras on the sides and the bottoms and the top. So this way, even though this is a big old glass, right? If bullets start flying towards that glass, you can just flip up that shield and you're really well protected. Second stabilizer. Now the second module, which is right here, is the reactor core. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more underneath for 8 small reactors, which is more than enough to charge up those batteries. So those batteries really never ever run out of energy. All you have to do is put in about maybe 200 ingots of uranium, and I could fly to Earth and back the long ways all day long, never run out of energy, because the batteries really don't take that much energy to recharge. A whole lot less energy than it does if you were to just run those straight to the engines. Also, I have 2 guns mounted on each side, and this is your point right here, where top and bottom, where you can connect your drones or whatever to stock up the cargo or whatever it is. Now this side right here, and this module right here, and the middle module, this middle module is what I call the forge compartment. The forge compartment contains the refinery with power upgrades for efficiency. I build everything to efficiency. And it also has an assemblers. I think it may have one. I'm not quite sure if it's two. Now, it also has one gun protecting it from the top area, right? And these two modules right here and right here are both warp drives. So this thing can actually warp with 3 warp drives, quite a long ways. About 2,700 and some odd kilometers, because it weighs, about 3 million kilograms or 3,000 tons. And now I have these other modules here, which are hydrogen boosters. Now these hydrogen boosters also have landing gears on the side, and they're for your landing and for taking off from the planet. This does not have enough energy. There's a stratosphere area where your atmosphere's cut out, but your ions don't really work. And since it's kind of weaker on the ions, so when lifting up off of a planet, all you have to do is turn on your hydrogen. It takes about half of its gas tank in survival to lift off the alien planet into space. Of course, you could have a hydrogen efficiency and it'd probably only take about a quarter, or if you pulse it like I do manually, maybe it'd only take about a quarter. But if you turn on your hydrogens after your atmosphere is cut out, it'll take you about half if you just consistently hold the button. Here is your atmospheric module, which controls you in the atmosphere, forward, back, strafe left, strafe right. Of course, these lights come on telling you if those atmospheres are on. This is your gyroscopic and your engine stabilizers. Of course, there's your tail lights. And off to your left and to your right is your engine nacelles, port and starboard. As you can see, you have 2 large in the back, 2 large in the front, so you have equal stopping power and go power, and you have side thrusters. Nothing burns. Everything's spaced exactly right to where nothing will be damaged on thruster damage. Plus, you have these shields over the sides, so your engines, even if you do take a hit from the side or from whatever, your engines aren't necessarily going to be destroyed on the first or second hit. Okay, we've gone through and looked over the whole entire of the ship, and I think it looks really pretty. I always like the way that these ships turn out once they snap them together and put it together for whatever purpose. Let's go in and take a landing on the planet, and that'll end this video. Now, there was a script I had come across, and I always thought, oh man, it's too difficult. I mean, it just seems difficult to try to do. But then I just said, well, you know what? It sounds really good. I'm going to really try it. I want to really try to see if it works. This is navigator seat, of course. If I sit in the navigator, there's one navigator. He does all of this stuff. And of course, you have the other engineer who is the pilot, and he does all of this stuff. I'm going to give you a view of what the pilot can see. Whoops. Of what the pilot can see. He of course, he's got all of his equipment up there. He can see his damage report over here. He can see his damage report over here. So he's got quite a good view. And then of course, there's a pylon between the two, so that if a missile comes through and knocks out one cockpit, it's not going to necessarily kill the other engineer. He can then, jump out and go to the emergency while the other guy responds. Now this guy, of course, has all of your information, and he can see pretty clear over here. He can see pretty clear over here. So, I think this is a pretty good view. Anyways, the script that I'm talking about is, it'll come on right there once we get into gravity. It's a gravity aligner. Now, I have the guy who made it, in the title of the program blocks, but I can't think of it offhand for this video. So let us go down into the planet. Wait a second. Do I have my? I won't need my hydrogens on, and it's a waste of hydrogen. I gotta go to my hydrogen tanks. I think I got it under gas tanks. Because I'm like that. Stockpile on. Stockpile on. All you have to do is turn it on to stockpile, and I think that I actually have all of this. See, these are, the first one is all my cameras. The second one, let's see if this works. Okay, maybe it's not working. We're gonna do my, we're gonna turn the safety on. Let's see if I got my, oh, I don't have my third person. My third person isn't coming on. Well, that's not right. I thought I had that on. Oh well. And of course you can see I have guns. There's my batteries. I have some stuff here. This is where I have my gas tanks, where I can just hit the buttons to get them on or on. This is my engine control, my, of course, remote controls. This here are welders that you can turn on in case, you know, that'll keep the emergency warp drive fixed. Also, it will keep the medical bay fixed, so that maximizes respawn time. Some of your programs right here. Of course, the navigator has more. Let's get going. Let's just start landing on the planet. Okay, as you can see, I got the forward camera, another forward camera, another forward camera, 4 forward cameras. I believe this is a side camera, or no, that's the reverse camera. Then a side camera, another side camera, a bottom camera, top camera, and I think I'm done. So I got to go down to the front camera, and we're going to be landing in the dark. Now you may say, oh man, that's going to be tough. But as you can see, it won't be so tough. Okay, gravity aligner has kicked in. Now, all I have to do is not even worry about it from here on out. Gravity aligner is aligning me, as you can see up here. It's starting to align. Oh yeah, I made it so that you don't even need any of this. So I'm aligning to the gravity planet, and it kind of wobbles a little bit. This is a heavy ship, as you can see, 2.9 empty, right? And as you can see up there, I'm falling. It's going to take me a little bit to fall, as I am at, you know, 40K right now, going down, down, down. And did my lights turn off? No, they did now. So this is actually like the easiest way to actually land on the planet, because I just let it fall. I don't turn off the engines, because the engines aren't really strong enough to actually keep it in atmosphere anyway. So without your hydrogens, your ions don't, once there's gravity involved, the ship will just pull down. But it doesn't matter, because by the time you hit atmosphere, because of the aligner, you're never going to hit the ground, as you will soon see. So I'm just going to let it fall. We're at 37. 37. It takes a while on default, of course, to go to the planet. And I learned that with speed mods, it kind of takes away from the, you know, the feeling of distance. You know, you put in the speed mod, and even though the realistic distance or the realistic speed may be achieved, you know, the realistic distance isn't there either, because really it's not 4,800 miles from the Earth to another planet. It's probably more like 4,800 miles from Mexico to Alaska. So, to give you more of the feeling like, okay, I'm traveling through the vastness of space, I just tend to just, okay, let's just slow it down a little bit. Keep it at the 104.7 that Keen likes it at. I really do think that that's the best speed for playing this game. As you can see, we're now doing 70 miles per second, which happens to be 158 miles per hour. Accelerating down. I do not know if we're at 34 or 31. I think we're at 30,000. And we're still going down. It takes a while to fall to the ground. So I'm thinking that if I can do an editor on the YouTube, I haven't done that sort of thing yet. Oh, something happened. Then we might just edit some of the part until it starts getting important. But until then, I'm thinking I'm just going to be quiet and just let things progress as they may. Okay, we're now starting to get in towards the lower atmosphere, and because I somehow did not get the third-person view on, we're going to go into spectator mode and take a look at the ship in spectator mode. Let me get the light on the situation. Here's the ship as we're starting to descend towards the planet. And I'm going to show you exactly how it's as you can see, it's just starting to slow down on its own. Oh, it looks like the shield was actually coming up. I just didn't let it, it's just slow. I make it slow on purpose because it just makes it more thematic. Of course, you could speed it up if you wanted to. As you can see, we're descending onto the planet. The gravity aligner does not allow for the ship to flip over. So landing a big ship like this couldn't actually be any easier. Now I'm thinking we're starting to slow down almost to a stop. Let's see. Let me stop moving the camera. There it is. Excuse me. Go. So, actually, let me, I'm going to retract that, I'm going to retract that all the way. Let's wait and let's see how this works. Maybe I can view it or make it work from here. Okay, there it goes. As you can see, it goes forward, and then of course, as I was telling you before, in case you get in a firefight, the shield turns and covers the windows. See? And then you're fully protected from the inside from any forward-facing missiles or bullets or anything that might come your way. So let me put that up and let's finish our landing. It really is stable in the atmosphere. You could stay up in the atmosphere all day long and never have to worry about anything. Now, of course, I put on the safety lock because, you know, moving to the left or to the right, if it's not on safety lock, may make that thing flap. And I'm going to manually push down the rest of the way. And this is a night landing, so it's going to be like the most difficult landing. And I could use my down camera. I believe my down camera is, which number? We have aft, port, starboard, deck, and keel. So it is my 9 camera is my down camera. Okay, of course I can't see nothing. So this isn't helping me any. Obviously, one of the things that I forgot is to put a spotlight on the bottom. Oh well, what can you do? Oh, I'm starting to see something down there. It's like an edge or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that I'm like 1,200 meters from the surface. I'm just gonna get out of this view because I can't see nothing. So maybe in the future when I revise this, what I'm gonna do is I'll put a spotlight on that bottom. Obviously, that's something that's necessary. Okay, we're 300 meters away. As you can see, it shows me clearly up there. I don't even need to have the tab on to give me all the information that I need to successfully complete a landing. 92 meters from the ground. Let's see if I can't. Ooh, my aligner is aligning me, so I'm better wait for that to compensate. Or something, I might have hit something. No, I think I'm just aligning on the ground. Unless, of course, yep, I was just aligning. Unless, of course, I'm hitting something that I don't know about. I'm just going to cheat for the purposes of this video because I'm starting to spin in a circle for some reason. Entities list. Yeah, it's what I thought. I'm actually on this the back end of my ship is stuck on a little berm. Okay, these things happen. What can I do? Oh, come on, player control. Oh, so let me go forward, if I can go forward. And let's see if I can't get my back camera. Which one's my back camera? Number 5. Yep, there it is. I got stuck on a little burn. Here we go. We'll make it down now. As you can see, it flies really good in the atmosphere. So, being, a huge, almost 3,000 ton frigate, this is some really good flying in the atmosphere. You could actually use it viably as a planetary support vehicle. Say, like if you bring in the cruiser up, in orbit and have it be orbital bombardment, one of these guys could come down and be a very viable command center for any, planetary operations. I'm still trying to get away from that butte and onto some ground, and it looks like the ground is a long ways down, so I'm just gonna continue to go on until, let's see if I can see it with my other. Yep, there it is. There it is. We're gonna do a nice landing. A nice landing. There's my engines. Maybe we should go forward a little bit. You never know how level the ground is, especially at night. Okay, it looks like I'm a little bit on the, see? There we go. This ground looks a little bit more level. Maybe I'm on a hill. Who knows? Nope, it looks flat. Looks flat enough. And there you go. A successful landing. Let's take a look from the outside. Gravity aligner just kept me all lined up. Didn't even have to worry about it. Almost choked to death. That's okay. Let me get my health back up. And we'll take a look at how well it landed. Okay. Now I'm choking you some more because... Oh yeah, see? Well, looks like I broke some stuff landing, which is okay because it was a night landing and I couldn't see, didn't really choose my landing area very well. But other than that, that was a really nice landing. So if I had a landing pad, none of that would have happened, and that would have probably why a person would build a landing pad in the first place. But as you can see, this is the this is where I ran into the back end of the mountain, and as you can see, those shields really protect these motors a lot. See, if I would have had that actually hit directly onto those motors, probably would have broke, but instead it just kind of broke up the metal there a little bit, which isn't so bad. Okay, well, this is my newest ship that I have on the workshop. It is the C-Series Starship Planetary Frigate. It's made to escort the Star Wolf as part of my C-Series fleet and do planetary missions. As you can see, you can easily go from space to the planet, don't even have to worry about it, and vice versa. And in the next video, we're going to do a little bit of combat and see what it can do. It's not necessarily a combat ship, as I could tell you that in the future I'll be building it to command drones, but it does have point defense, and so we're going to see what it can do in terms of point defense. Alright, I will see. This is Wolfen Ray 73, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.